Are you wondering if you can retire with $500,000? Well, that's a question that I get a lot. Hey, Jacob, is $500,000 enough to retire with? And there's really no simple answer, but I can give you some ideas around what this might look like for you if that's the situation you find yourself in. So in this video, I'm gonna walk through what it looks like to retire with $500,000 and give you ideas around how much you can spend per month and still have a sustainable retirement. Hey there, if I have not met you yet, my name is Jacob Duke. I'm a certified financial planner, and the purpose of this channel is to help you grow in your confidence around all things retirement. So people come to me all the time and say, hey, Jacob, how much do I need to retire? And it's really not an easy question to answer, but they might be like, hey, can I retire with 500,000? Can I retire with $1 million? What about 2 million? How much is enough? Now, there's really not a perfect answer to these questions, but if I can tell you one thing that it comes down to, it all boils down to how much you spend on a monthly basis. So if that's one of the primary ingredients or factors in your ability to retire, I think we should place importance on it. So you can retire successfully with $500,000, and we're about to see that in just a second. But there's a few things that we've got to pay attention to be able to make that happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through how much you may be able to spend with $500,000 and live sustainably, but then also I'm going to give you some tips here at the end to help make that more realistic. So let's go ahead and jump in. As you can see right here, this is an online tool called FiCalc, and anybody can use it. It's free. It's a great tool. Now, it's not super comprehensive, but it does give you a starting place. It does give you an idea of what you need to be paying attention to and kind of give you some general thoughts around what your possibilities are. So go check it out. It's free for everyone. Obviously, if you want a more comprehensive, elaborate plan or kind of thought process to go through this, hey, what's possible here? What's possible here? What about this situation? Then obviously you might have to talk with a financial planner or start building that out yourself. But just to get you started, I wanted to dive into this with you. As we can see, our portfolio is right around $500,000 right now today. And I'm just going to say that we're going to use a 60-40 classic portfolio. So we're going to say 60% stock, 35% bond, and we're going to hold 5% in cash. How about that? So we're going to say that that's our portfolio. And right now, obviously, we're not spending any dollars per year. So what we're going to say is, what if we chose a starting place of $5,000 per month? What if we're like, hey, Jacob, we need $5,000 a month. We got $500,000 saved. That's $60,000 per year. We can see that 0% of the time, you will succeed in terms of be able to live for 30 years. You're not going to be able to live for 30 years on $500,000 if you take that much per year. Now, what is this percentage success rate based on? Well, out of the last 123 rolling 30-year periods. That's based on stock market returns, bond market returns, cash rates, also inflation rates are factored into this. So 0 out of the last 123 rolling 30-year periods. So every year is another rolling 30-year period. You will not be successful. So that's obviously not where we want to be. So right away, we can scratch off, hey, we cannot pull $60,000 a year out of our portfolio if we only have $500,000 in it. So what happens if we change that from $5,000 a month down to $4,000 a month, which would be $48,000 per year? Does that increase our chances, and what does that look like? So it does increase our chances, but not by a whole lot. So again, same thing, we cannot pull $48,000 out of our $500,000 portfolio and expect that to last for 30 years. So what if we keep going down this little trail here and we say $3,000 a month, which is $36,000 per year? How does that improve? So it does improve it slightly. So we can see that 35% of the time we're successful. Now that's 43 out of the last 123 rolling 30-year periods. So if we look at this in a little bit more detail, we can see that during the good times, things are going to go well. But if we started our retirement in 1978, going all the way back to, 1953, this whole period of time, you would not have been successful if you retired at any point during these years. If you retired in 1979 and beyond, you would have been successful, but just barely. So it's really not a trustworthy thing to say, I've got $500,000 and I need to pull $36,000 a year or $3,000 a month. So let's keep going. Let's see, hey, does this improve whenever we do $2,000 a month, which is $24,000 a year? How does that shake out? There we go. So 77% of the time. Now, obviously, there's still chances of failure. Now, what I always tell people is whenever we look at a chance of failure, I say, hey, yes, that's realistic, but the only chance of us failing is if we don't make any adjustments, if we don't make any changes and keep doing exactly what we've done so far. If we keep pulling $24,000 a year, then we will run out of money at least, 23% of the time. Now, whenever things go poorly or investments are not performing the way we otherwise hope, typically most people are going to pull back on their spending if they can, and they're going to reduce how much they need every single month. Well, what that does is that increases your probability of success because you're not spending the same amount you originally were, and now you can have a longer life for your portfolio, meaning your longevity of your assets will be elongated or increased. So just know that likelihood of 23% of the time you're going to fail, that's not going to happen most of the time because you're going to make some changes before it gets that bad. So this is maybe, for me, I would say this is a more accurate or expected spending amount every year. You can pull, I think, $2,000 a month from a $500,000 portfolio. Now, there's a couple things that we could change here in terms of our assumptions or factors. We could change investment allocations. We could change investment returns in terms of the expectations there. We could change the inflation rate, whether we increase that or decrease that. So we can play with those factors, but I really don't want to play with those factors as much as I want to be able to just change how much we spend, because that's something we can actually control, right? We can't change what returns are going to be in the stock market. We can't change how high inflation is going to be, just like it's been over the last 3 years. We can't change all these different things, but what we can change is how much we spend. We can control that at least to an extent. So how can we supplement this? Well, like I mentioned, we can increase our stock allocation and be more aggressive, but we also have to remain at least conservative on a portion of our assets. So we've got to have cash available to pull at any given point. So right now, like I mentioned, we're in 60-40. That's the classic portfolio. What if we change that and just go to, 80% stock, 15% bond, and 5% cash? I'm curious if that helps us. We were originally 77, now we're at 82%. So taking a little bit more aggressive approach actually increases our success rate over time. Also, we have to factor in things like Social Security income. That's going to be very instrumental in your income plan and obviously increasing your success throughout retirement. So whenever we think about maybe an average Social Security benefit of $2,000 per month, if we add that into our $24,000 per year, just like this situation here, we can see that's going to give us around $48,000 per year, which is about 10% of our original starting portfolio amount. So that's a healthy income based on the amount of assets we have. And also when we factor in an increase in the aggressiveness, we're taking a little bit more risk due to increased stock allocation. That's also going to increase our long-term or longevity of our assets because we're growing that much more each year over time and getting higher average returns. So what are some other tips I have for you right here on retiring with a $500,000 portfolio? Well, the first one is this: decrease how much your fixed monthly expenses are every month, whether that's a mortgage, a car payment, credit cards, any sort of consumer debt. If you can eliminate that before you retire, your success rate is going to go up dramatically. So that's the first thing. Lower your unnecessary expenses such as debt or mortgages. The second thing is this: how can we increase or change our investment allocation to optimize our income potential moving forward or optimize our overall portfolio growth? That's going to be instrumental in your success. The third tip I have for you is to decrease your spending in the years in which market or investment returns are lower than normal. So if you have a minus 20% year, well, maybe don't spend as much that year if at all possible. That's the year in which you may not want to go on that vacation or may not want to travel to that place because it costs you $5,000. If you can eliminate having to pull that from your portfolio whenever the market is down, that's whenever you can say, I'm going to leave that in there and let the market recover, and my longevity of my assets is going to be that much greater. So decrease your spending whenever things are not going well. And the final thing I have for you is this: if you can, delay your Social Security as long as you possibly can. I get it. Not all of us can do it. Not everyone can delay it to 67 or their full retirement age. In fact, sometimes a lot of people have to take that at 62 just to get the income stream started. But just to tell you something important about this is every year that you delay your Social Security, your benefits are going to be going up around 8%. Now, that's a guaranteed 8%. Now, it's calculated monthly, but if you delay it for 12 months from 62 to 63, your benefit will be around 8% higher. So the longer that you can delay, the higher your benefits will be for the rest of your life. And on top of that, every time you get a cost of living adjustment or a COLA, you will have your benefits or your adjustments increased based on a higher dollar amount. So you're not going to be increasing at a lower dollar amount. You know, whenever we're talking percentages, a 5% cost of living adjustment is worth more in dollar terms on a $3,000 benefit than it is a $2,000 benefit. So the longer you can delay your Social Security, number one, is going to help you just from a monthly income standpoint because you're increasing those benefits by around 8% every year that you delay. But then also every time you get COLAs in the future, those are going to be increasing at a greater rate. So was this video helpful if you're trying to retire with $500,000? Let me know down in the comments below. And also be sure to subscribe to the channel. That way you don't miss any future videos like this one. Thanks so much. And I look forward to talking with you again really soon.